I escaped communist Cuba 40 years ago on a boat with my family. I endured 15 years of life under Marxism and Leninism over there. And I remember, in the school system I had to be a pionero, communist youth. All kids are forced to be one. The state requires that, or you don't go to school. And if you don't go to school, they go after your parents because your kid is not going to school. The irony of that, and so you're trapped. You're trapped in a country where the government tells you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And in a few weeks, we're facing the same system, being pushed by a few career politicians who has really no idea what they're doing. A lot of them are brainwashed into the Marxism that's being sold to them as something for equality. By the way, equality, that's not the United States. The United States is equal opportunity, meaning everybody has an equal shot. You can do whatever you want to in life, and the state will not get in the way. We all would be treated the same under the law. But the individual has to do it. The individual is the one that is going to make their life, not the state. These people here want everybody to be the same, like ants in an anthill. No individuality, no freedom, no liberty. You are a pawn. That's the way they see you. When the co-founder of Black Lives Matter says she's a Marxist, that scares me. Scares me immensely because I know what Marxism is. I lived it and studied it. We escaped it. 14 hours on the side of a boat, puking. That was my escape. I was 15 years old. My father was a political prisoner there in Cuba. 12 years. I remember going and seeing him in prison. He was beaten by the state, by the jailers. He had blues and browns all over his face, but he still had a smile for me. I remember that. Outside in the world, in the civilian world there, in the country, you were restricted. If you said the wrong things, the state could throw you in jail for being contra-revolucionario, against the revolution. Censorship was total. The papers, the radio, all controlled by the state. That was a joke. That there was two channels, Channel 2 and Channel 6. In Channel 2 there was state propaganda. In Channel 6 there was a state guy in a suit telling you go back to Channel 2. That was the joke. But you didn't hear anything that other than what the state wanted you to hear. And that's happening here right now. Facebook and Twitter have censored political dissent, political free speech. They're the same thing that I experienced back there in Cuba. That's what we have here now. Those are the people that want to take over in November. That they think they know best what's best for you. Is that what you want? Do you want a big totalitarian government to tell you what to do, how to do it, and when to do it? What to say, not to say? I thought we were Americans. I thought we had freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of action. That's pretty disturbing to me what we have gotten into, especially given the great history of this country, the great history of liberty, freedom, and how many have sacrificed for the country and for our principles. I served 20 years in the Navy. In 1987 I joined because I felt I had to do something for the country that had saved my life. And so I put my life on the line and served the nation. And here's the kicker. 10 years after arriving on a boat from Cuba, with no clothes, no possessions, not even knowing the language, 10 years later, I was driving a nuclear submarine. America is a great country. Great country. But you have to do the right things. You can't make mistakes. Because that's what's killing a lot of Americans. Wrong choices in life. It's not the bad state. It's not the totalitarian capitalism and all that stuff they feed you. It's you. A lot of you are making really bad choices. Drugs, alcohol, gangs, crime, out of wedlock, kids, single mothers. And I can go on and on. That's personal problems. That's not the state. This country is great, great. If you play your cards right, you can have a great life. I'm an example. My wife and I, she's also Cuban American, she came here as a little girl. She also put herself through school. She was working on Dunkin' Donuts at nighttime while going to college in the daytime. And she graduated. She was a performance analyst in Wall Street for many years. And she did a great, great career. The two of us now have been married about 11 years. And we have a great life. Here I am on my property. The two of us are enjoying a good life here. If we could do it, you too, you can do it too. But you have to be smart about your life choices. You can't make mistakes. And by the way, in life, no matter what country or system you live in, if you make a mistake, you will pay for it. There's no free rides. You will pay for it. So the answer is not a big state. The answer is, if you have a bad life, if you're doing bad, look at your life. Look at what you're doing. And if you are making mistakes, stop it and correct them. Because you're living in a great country. You've been blessed to live in this great country. I know. I used to have to sneak into a closet in Cuba with a shortwave radio to listen to the Bee Gees, because if you got caught listening to that, you would go to jail. It was subversive. It was evil capitalist music. That was the totalitarianism of communism down there. If you're an American born, you're very lucky. Appreciate what you have. Appreciate the great luck that you have been given to live in the greatest country on the planet, the freest country on the planet. Appreciate it. Take some pride in being American. When the principles of the founding fathers left you behind. When the great laws of the Bill of Rights is the U.S. Constitution. Take pride on that and defend it. And for you who want Marxism and socialism, here's a warning again. Don't go that way. Once you give the power to the state, you're never going to get it back. No state in history has given back willingly the power to the people back willingly. It's always had to be by force. And once your power is gone, you don't get it. You become a slave of the state. So the answer is always freedom. Always personal independence and liberty. Never a bigger state. Never, ever.